Hey everyone, this is Hussein, and welcome back to Baabji Motors, your go-to hub for real-world vehicle diagnostics and programming insights. Before we kick things off, a quick standard disclaimer. This video is strictly for educational purposes. Everything I show here is meant to guide and inform technicians, learners, and enthusiasts. Always follow manufacturer instructions and local laws. And remember that ref flashing in ECU carries risks. Also, if you want the exact gear I use, the links in the description are tagged as affiliate products, which genuinely help keep the channel running at no extra cost to you. Ever wondered how to unlock your car's hidden horsepower without paying a shop to do all the work? Today, I'm going to show you how to build a professional-grade ECU remapping setup at home using proven open-source software and a compact list of hardware. I'll walk you through safe readouts, backups, basic calibration changes, and real-world validation, so you can achieve meaningful gains without guessing. Stick around until the end because I'll share a recovery trick that can save a bricked ECU and a way to support the channel through membership. Here's a question for you to ponder as we dive in. What's the smallest, safest change you can make to a stock map that reliably improves drivability without risking engine health? Keep that in mind because I'll answer it at the end. Let's start with why open source tools matter. Tools like ECUFlash and RomRaider give you transparency. You can read the factory map, see all the tables, and make edits in a repeatable, auditable way. RomRaider is community-driven and pairs tightly with ECUFlash for many Subaru and Mitsubishi ECUs, making this setup a reliable starting point for both hobbyists and pros. Now, the shopping list, the hardware that actually moves the bytes. First, you need a J2534 capable interface or a dedicated tuning interface. The Tactrix OpenPort 2.0 is versatile and field upgradable, supporting J2534 pass-through, CAN, and K-line. It's widely used with ECUFlash for Subaru and Mitsubishi platforms and is a fantastic go-to for open-source flashing and logging. Next, a solid OBD programming interface that supports bench and boot modes for more advanced ECUs. Tools like the MPPS series and the AlienTech KESS 3 cover a broad range of ECUs with OBD, bench, and boot options. MPPS clones are still common and known for strong recovery capabilities on many Bosch and older ECUs, while KESS 3 is a modern commercial programmer that adds speed and bench mode features for contemporary ECUs. If you're aiming for a master-level setup, KESS 3 fits that workflow perfectly. Third, you'll need a reliable diagnostic and logging cable for live data. The OBD-Link EX is a high-quality adapter recommended for advanced diagnostics and FOR skin workflows. It's particularly useful if you plan to record high-frequency channels while tuning. Fourth, bench harnesses and power supplies. To flash ECUs off the car, you cannot rely on the vehicle harness alone. A bench harness or universal bench power block lets you supply switched 12-volt ignition, constant battery power, and ground reliably while accessing the ECU's programming connectors directly. This setup also makes mail-order tuning and module swapping cleaner and safer. Some practical accessories to consider include a quality USB to serial adapter if your tool requires it, a micro SD card or fast SSD to store original and modified ROMs, a small lab bench power supply capable of stable 12-volt output, and a set of breakout leads for bench mode pin access. These keep your workflow organized and your data secure. Now onto the software stack and the first handshake. Download ECUFlash and RomRaider, then grab the latest definition files for your platform. These XML files tell the editor how to label tables, locate fuel and timing maps, and log meaningful channels. Always match the exact cal or ROM ID from your ECU to the right definition file before editing. RomRaider's documentation and supported ECU lists are the best place to confirm compatibility. Workflow time, read, verify, backup. Start with a verified stock read. With your interface connected, perform a full read of the ECU and save at least 3 copies. One on your PC, one on a removable drive, and one in cloud storage or an external backup. Use clear version file names including the CARVIN or ECU serial. Good version control saves a lot of headaches. If you have the option to read separate bootloader and application areas, save those separately when possible. Safety rule number 1, never attempt big, aggressive changes on your first try. Start conservatively, then validate with logs. 4 turbocharged engines, small tweaks to fueling and ignition can produce real gains while staying safe. Typical Stage 1 style remaps usually yield around 10 to 20% improvement in power and torque, depending on the platform and hardware. Let's break down the maps you'll touch fuel, ignition timing, boost control, and rev limits. Fuel tables control injector pulse width and fueling strategy. Ignition maps determine when the spark fires, influencing both power and knock sensitivity. Boost maps control target manifold pressure on turbo cars. A safe first edit might be a modest fuel enrichment in the mid-range under load to correct a lean trim or slight ignition smoothing where factory knock retard appears. These non-invasive edits improve drivability instantly. Here's a concrete example. If your logs show a lean short-term fuel trim under wide-open throttle at mid-RPM, add a small, localized increase to the fueling table in the affected load and RPM cells. Think tenths of a percent, not a wholesale shift. After reflashing, log the same run again to confirm the air-fuel ratio is within the desired window and knock levels remain low. This iterative loop of change, test, log, compare is the core of safe tuning. Logging is everything. Use RomRaider or your ECU's native logger to capture parameters like commanded and actual boost, manifold air temperature, long-term and short-term trims, knock counts, and ignition advance. If possible, validate power gains on a dyno or perform repeatable rolling runs with GPS-based power estimation. Communities report reliable Stage 1 gains of roughly 10 to 20% on turbocharged gasoline cars when maps are executed well. Flashes can go wrong. Many tools include recovery modes. MPPS, for example, can sometimes recover controllers that lost application code. Boot mode flashing using pin shorting or specialized tools can restore a non-communicating ECU, although some vintage ECUs are permanently damaged by bad flash. Always have a backup plan, a second interface, bench harness, or bricked ECU recovery contact. Common beginner mistakes include using the wrong definition file, not backing up the factory file, poor ground connections during flashing, and cheap clone interfaces with unstable drivers. Driver conflicts and Windows updates are surprisingly common sources of headaches. Use a clean, offline laptop image for flashing if possible, and invest in known good interfaces, a small extra cost for long-term reliability. Future-proof your setup. Invest in interfaces that support J2534 pass-through and firmware updates. Use bench harnesses designed for modular adapters so you can add support for new ECUs without rewiring. As you move from Stage 1 to Stage 2 and beyond, you'll want hardware that supports bench, bootloader, and J-tag style connections. KESS 3 and modern J2534 devices cover that growth curve. Once comfortable with basic edits, explore advanced topics, refine definition files, add custom log channels, and tune for specific hardware like larger turbos or injectors. Online communities like RomRaider forums, vehicle-specific groups, and tuning forums are invaluable for definition files, sample maps, and recovery procedures. Legal and safety notes. Many modifications affect emissions and warranty. Reflashing modern ECUs can trip manufacturer counters or require dealer intervention if something goes wrong. Always inform vehicle owners about warranty and emissions implications, and avoid selling or installing illegal tunes. Practical recap. A minimalist starter kit. 1J2534 interface like the Tactrix OpenPort 2.0, a dependable OBD logging adapter like OBD-Link EX, a bench harness with 12-volt power, a commercial bench/boot capable programmer like MPPS or KESS3, quality cables, a fast external drive for backups, and a dedicated laptop with your software and definitions. Answer time. The smallest, safest change that improves drivability? Make a small, localized fuel correction or trim smoothing where logs show a lean condition under load, or minor ignition smoothing where small knock events occur. These minimal, logical edits often give more noticeable improvement than aggressive global changes while keeping risk low. My take: open-source ECU tuning empowers enthusiasts and is cost-effective. It teaches you to think like an engineer, read, measure, change, validate, building skills that shops charge for. But always respect limits. Engine internals, fuel quality, and cooling are constraints you cannot ignore. Pro tip before we go: always verify vendor firmware and definition file versions before flashing. Mismatched files can make map values meaningless or dangerous. Keep a detailed change log for every file and car you touch. Thanks for sticking with me. If you want the exact tools I used, check the affiliate links in the description. Your support keeps Baabji Motors thriving. Help our community goal of 10,000 likes and 1,000 comments by dropping your thoughts, questions, or just hyping this video in the comments. And if you'd like behind-the-scenes content while directly supporting the channel, consider joining our membership. It makes a huge difference. Fun fact: many modern tuning gains come purely from optimizing fueling and ignition timing. Sometimes a few precise map edits are all that stand between a dull car and a lively one. Once again, thank you for watching. Keep learning, keep exploring, and happy diagnosing from Baabji Motors.